Vice President Kamala Harris is hitting the ground, not just running, but literally sprinting, because it's just about 100 days that she has to make her case to the American people. This weekend, the Harris Coalition is hosting more than 2,300 events to motivate voters in key swing states. The campaign has more than 250 battleground offices to organize in the months ahead. And since Sunday, 170,000 new volunteers, these numbers are insane, have joined the campaign effort. Joining us now, MSNBC political contributor and White House correspondent for Politico, Eugene Daniels, and former Republican Communications Director, Tara Setmeyer. She is a resident scholar at the University of Virginia Center for Politics. And I should also know, yeah, she is smart, honey, smart. And Mr. Daniels is now the president of the White House Correspondents Association.
Yeah, he happy too.
Yeah. Been a busy time.
After the week he's had. So Tara, you know, you and I have been having a lot of fun over the last week just watching the politics evolve around the vice president and how she's been able to transition from behind the curtain, if you will, you know, to the main stage. What's your assessment of this transitional week for her? As Simone mentioned, 170,000 people. Think about that. Volunteered within like a 3 or 4 day span to work on her campaign, raised well over $100 million, and seemingly has started to get under Donald Trump's skin.
I think there's one word, and it's reinvigorated. The country, the voters, the Democratic base is reinvigorated, and that's evidenced by what we've seen since last Sunday. It hasn't even been a week, people. It hasn't even been a week, okay? Wow. And, you know, in this time frame, we've got Donald Trump and MAGA and J.D. Vance playing defense. They're talking about couches and cat ladies, and we're talking about Kamala and record-breaking activity. Whether it's fundraising, whether it's the grassroots organizing, I'd say it's a pretty great week for the Democrats. They need to maintain this, right? We talked about it's only 100 days. It is a sprint at this point now. It's not a marathon. We are in the final days of this 2024 election. It feels like it never ended. It's just been going on for years. But this, I think, truncated time frame is advantageous to Kamala Harris and her campaign, because I think that the energy that has been injected into this race, people are realizing, okay, there's a chance. It's not a fait accompli that we're going to cede our country to MAGA and the extremists. Women are fired up and ready to go. The audacity of J.D. Vance to call women miserable cat ladies. No. Women aren't miserable. They're motivated. And look out. And that's what we're doing at the Seneca Project. We are galvanizing women. We are motivating them, explaining what's at stake. And with Kamala Harris now at the top of the ticket, it becomes even more apparent the difference, the contrast between the vision that Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and MAGA has versus the forward-thinking, positive, empowering vision that Kamala Harris has. And women have had enough. And I think that we're going to be the ones that save this democracy. Plain and simple.
The split screen that Tara points out is in fact stark. You know, our one of our segment producers, Evan, he was texting me last night, because that's what Evan does. His brain is always like, I got a thought here, and I'm like, yes, Evan, give me all the thoughts. And Evan made a good point. He said that it's almost been 25 years since we've seen a sitting vice president run for president. Yeah. Al Gore was the last one, obviously, and there is this interesting balance that Vice President Harris will have to do on this campaign trail for the next almost 100 days. It'll be 100 days on Monday, because you do have to differentiate yourself, your own vision, but also you are still the sitting vice president for a president that is not yet finished and still has a lot of work to do. This is how the vice president is setting herself up on the campaign trail. I want to play for you her in West Allis, Wisconsin, talking about Trump's type versus who she is.
As Attorney General of California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges that was scamming students. Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students. As a prosecutor, I specialized in cases involving sexual abuse. Well, Trump was found liable for committing sexual abuse. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big Wall Street banks and held them accountable for fraud Donald Trump was just found guilty of fraud on 34 counts.
Eugene, you were at this event covering the vice president. What is your take on this, 4-day, 5-day, 6-day maybe now campaign that's been started?
I mean, it's head spinning for those of us who have been either around her a lot or covering her this entire time. Standing around with some of the other folks who cover Vice President Harris, Jasmine Wright, at Notice, and we were just like, this is not how we expected this to go at all, right? No one did. The amount of energy that was in there, objectively, it was nothing. It was humongous compared to what they've been doing over the last couple of years. 3,000 people at that event. I think it just is a reminder of how much the Democratic Party, the American people, did not want the battle between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. That is something that they made clear in polling. The Democrats chose not to listen and gave them that. And so now you see this kind of, like Tara was saying, this reinvigorated kind of world. I will say the thing that about her, making sure that she toes that line between differentiating herself, the way that it was put to me by Chiefs of Staff of Al Gore this week, was that she has to distinguish without distancing. And so, that's really important. There can only be one president at a time. And so even when talking about, especially when talking about foreign policy, she has to figure out a way to kind of make clear and give signals without changing U.S. policy. And she did that this week, right?
She did that.
Her convo with Bibi Netanyahu, I was there at that. And when she came out and spoke to us, which was already surprising, that she was the one who was going to talk after her and both President Biden met separately with Bibi Netanyahu, she didn't change policy. She talked about all the things that they, as a Biden-Harris administration, wanted. But she also talked about how she sees the protesters, the people that want a ceasefire. She spoke in a way that was a little different than President Biden. The tone was different.
The tone was different. The policy, though, was the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's interesting about the tone, whether it's in a foreign policy space or in a domestic space. The one thing I found, and I think her campaign slogan for me, the bumper sticker for me on this campaign, is "We choose freedom," and I think it's important because it touches on a lot of things, Tara, that go to the heart of what this campaign is about. And a lot of folks, the big piece that's sitting in the room is abortion rights, et cetera, but it's also our voting rights, it's our freedom of association, how we raise our kids, all the types of things that we've now taken for granted over 248 years. It stands in stark relief as possibly going away. And this idea of we choose freedom. Let's take a quick listen to how she frames that.
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom.
Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose.
A little Beyonce.
I know. I get them by Beyonce in the morning. Here we go. Tara, how you are in the communication space. How does this land in your view?
Oh, this is, me. I'm a former Republican. We talk about freedom all the time, at least the old Republican Party used to. We like this language because that's what it's about. This is about freedom. It's about we the people and what we the people means as a country and individual freedom and rights and empowerment, equality. That's what this pursuit of happiness is about, this great democracy, American experiment we have. It's not that horrible regressive vision, that authoritarian vision that Donald Trump and MAGA wants to inflict on this country. It's not about retribution. So this message of freedom, I think, is brilliant and embracing that. And it's actually taking that narrative away from Republicans, because what they're talking about is not freedom, it's oppression. And it's exclusive, not inclusive. And I think starting off this way, and then also, of course, everyone loves Beyonce, so bringing that fresh generational change into this passing the torch, gives her that. It's a certain sense of it's the Barack Obama effect almost,
Right.
Dare I
Right.
say. And we have not seen that in a long time. And so that's why you see Republicans flailing about. They don't know what to do with themselves. They're running around calling her a DEI hire or whatever the hell that means, insulting women of color. And people are going, stop it. That's all you have? When you have to have the Speaker of the House put out a memo to tell their members to stop being racist, you're not having a great week.
Maybe you're being just a little bit racist.
It's a little too far when Mike Johnson got to step in.
But just as a side note, speaking of torches, did we see Beyonce at the Olympics?
I mean, but the bodysuit. I'm going to be Beyonce for Halloween.
Me too.
Just wanted to put it on the table, let it marinate.